it. Jay Short says, so Nas is just gonna let Jay and his minions in music and media continue to passively, aggressively take shots. He has to address it, even subliminally. I don't think he has to address it.
I don't
We
think.
know what it is. You know what needs to happen though, and I say this respectfully as a fan of both artists. They're probably, number one and two. Jay needs another album though. Like the post and all that stuff. It's like it's cool. We know, but it is what it is, man. This KD series happened, and for me, as a person who's looking at it, like we got to look at the actual variables and take me being a fan out of it. This series forged Nas ahead easily at this point. I can't
Yes.
even argue with the Nas fan, even if I was still on my J shit. I couldn't even make an argument at this point. I can't. How can you
There's no,
formulate an argument at this point?
no there. Mike, even if he were to drop an album and it would be great, it still wouldn't be enough.
It
Like
needs
that's
two
why
or
it's like
three.
when you're
Yeah.
saying he needs to make an album, it's like, oh no, like it's Mike, it's over. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we can go
I
ahead
feel
and
you.
like we need to wrap that conversation up and start having possibly under conversations. We have an identifiable number one, we have an identifiable number two, and that's just really that at the end of the day. And this is what I mean about, and this is where I was like, oh well, the numbers of the touchy thing. Well, everything that we have speaks to that, except for what, Mike, the numbers.
Except for the
And then
numbers.
you have a post like these Grammys, and that Grammy post is very problematic. And here's why. Mike, you and I did a show earlier this year where we had a segment where we highlighted the fact, well, most of those Grammys, if you take Kanye West's name off of the production credits or the shared rapping credits, oh, it's like, well, Jay-Z now only has about 3 of those. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, did we not do a show about it?
we did a segment
But the
where
way,
we
hold on, but the way that the media controls everything, Mike, and controls the narrative, it controls what you see. All you see is him sitting around with those 22 or so Grammys. Like he did that by himself. And the reality of the matter is that he was probably Scottie Pippen on most of those records.
well, you know what? A lot of those records are features, and maybe somebody in the chat, or maybe you can
Scottie
look up,
Pippen.
and maybe you can look up how many of those were actual solo
Did you say
Grammys.
feature? Has it not the star?
I'm trying to think of how many of those were solo Grammys. Off the top of my head, I remember
You're the
us
one that did the
counting.
research, Mike.
Yeah, I did, and I want to say it was like 3 to 5. It was a low
Yeah,
number. It was a low number.
yeah, yeah.
Ohio
So
K with the super chat says, "Peace and love. Been a while since I tuned in. Yeah, it has. Shout out to Ohio K. Been a while since I tuned in. Been kind of busy, but can y'all break down how to stream properly? Go ahead, cool.
you want to know it? No, 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 Ohio K. I'm going to tell you what. That's a loaded question, and I don't want to run down that rabbit hole just yet because I think we're going to talk about it some when we get to the station head.
Okay, well,
But
this is what I get from it, right? Just to try to answer his question from my end.
yeah, you're better at
Just
explaining it.
go
Explaining
search.
it.
Just go search the song and stream it. Don't download it and have it in your playlist where it's downloaded, and then when you go back and play it from that list that's downloaded, it doesn't count as a stream. Correct?
Right.
So whenever
Correct.
you want to listen to the album, just type in the album and then just stream it from there, as opposed to pulling it off of the stream.
Or if you already have a streaming service platform, like if you have like an Apple Music or a Tidal, you can stake the song and put it into a Shazam and stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like like the plug. I need to start calling her the plug, Mike. She's not the source anymore, Mike. Now she's the plug. The plug actually, I think her and her people actually posted something on Twitter a couple days ago that I actually reposted that was like a very brief, like 20-second tutorial about how to like stream that I retweeted. So anybody can like anything about streaming lately, just because I knew people were going to ask, is I've been like retweeting constantly and like putting in my inbox. So you literally just need to dig through my messages on Twitter and you will see different like streaming ideas and platforms. And even if you go back and watch certain segments of these shows, I've talked about these things before. And it's not like I'm nauseated on it because it's really important. But since we are here, this is what I'm saying about it being important. Well, if the greatest MC of all time is having these issues, that means other artists are having these issues. Hello.
Yeah. Coop's
Yeah,
Twitter
like so.
also is
So people keep
under.
thinking it's like, oh, we think Nas is the greatest MC of all time, so we're giving him this attention. It's like, no, that means if it's affecting the greatest MC of all time, that means it's affecting other artists who are not the greatest MC of all time. It's what we like to call the trickle down raponomics. You see, the nigga at the top is struggling, like with his fan base, understanding some of these things. And if you like start looking around at other people that don't have the greatest rap catalog ever, you might find people might be suffering the same fate. Like I find myself thinking about T.I. today and thinking about his fan base because he came along at that time where CDs were still very much a thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of his core base, you and me are part of that. Like I thought about it, it's like, no. I'm used to buying T.I.'s CD and downloading Tip's album and calling it a day.
Right.
Right, aren't you? Right.
Coop's Twitter is actually under his name on the screen. It says @Coop_A2HH. Spur22 with the super chat says, who's confident enough to make a 17-track solo album? Nas, that's it. Is that still your Twitter, Coop, or do we need to change that?
Oh, yeah, I think I did change it. It's like King Coop. Oh, yeah.
Because when I read it, I was like,
that's
that's not the most accurate one. Yeah, put it in the chat or something.
I forgot that I had changed it, to be honest with you, Mike. That was like...
when I read it, I was like, that's not right. Shyster30 with the super chat says, sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is. Lyrics from 2+ decades ago. He's been the benchmark since 94. Salute the job you guys do every week. Appreciate that, Shyster30. Daryl Baxter with the super chat says, Reddit guy said it won't be his last. Okay. Busta delayed because of Takeoff. Will KD3 be perceived differently? So, Busta delayed because of Takeoff? I saw that Drake actually changed his Apollo show too. It's interesting stuff. I don't know what to say. I go down a whole rabbit hole with that. 36 Chambers with a super chat says, true artists don't retire. Nas has said that he's never had a day job. Music is this man's life. This is not his last album. Probably going until he can. Probably going until he can. Probably be going until he can. Excuse me. I could see that. But you know what? He's also created a lane to show that at whatever age he can make this type of music. I think that people who are so lyrically sound and just lyrically complex and don't, and I don't want to throw a shot, but y'all know me. I got to do this, though. Like, you can't go out there at 50-something years old making the real Slim Shady. If you have content and real, basis and you're not gimmicky in that sense, you can keep going. I think that Black Thought's showing us this. I think that Nas is showing us this. And I think, even though we weren't a huge fan of Common's last effort, Common could put out an album tomorrow. Common could put out an album in 10 years. It just can.
Yes, I do think Eminem gave a very nice speech at his Hall of Fame induction.
I didn't see his speech. I heard about his speech. It was very predictable to me. Of course, I'm pretty sure he went out there. He went out there and pandered and said, "Yo, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Cool G Rap and blah blah blah."
No, he's right about that though.
But see, this is my thing with Eminem and that. This is my thing with Eminem and that stuff.
Mike, no, it's
but cool. This is my thing when he does that stuff. When he came in the door, he wasn't giving any of these people props. That's just real. All that stuff is new. All that stuff is new. When the Slim Shady LP was out, when Marshall Mathers LP was out, I heard no Cool G Rap stuff. I didn't.
Eminem show.
No, his top 10 didn't have any of those guys in it.
I mean, it didn't have him in there, but I mean, he was more like, he was That
was the beginning of his pandering.
He was very complimentary with his praise to his contemporaries and whatnot at his peak.
Reggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie. Andre from Outkast, Jada, Corrupt, Nas, and then me. He had Nas at like number 9 or something.
Yeah, I thought that was. Well, I've always said that was the absurd part about that, but that's.
I'm sorry, man. How do you have that kind of level of appreciation for hip hop and you got Nas at 9 and Jay at 2? Now I get the Reggie thing because that's his whole style. Like that's like me putting Ghostface at number 1. He's just my guy, or Q-Tip or something. You know what I mean? But there's no Jay-Z in his style, right? So at that point, I feel like that's more of a I'm looking at it objectively. And then how does Nas end up at 9? I just don't understand. And we're talking about 2002 guys. So at
everybody
this
has
point,
different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Everybody has different perspectives. I will tell you this is that like I've always been told to me like cats from the D tend to rock with like the Nas and Tupac more than the Big and J. So that part of it is surprising to me.
But he's not a reflection.
Like the niggas I know from the D, like they play like the niggas I know from the D still play It Was Written. Like
I'm sure
that's their shit.
I was gonna say I'm sure Royce is big on Nas, and I remember it was either Royce or Ortiz. They were arguing that It Was Written is better than Illmatic. So yeah, I could see like from a lyricist standpoint and a writer standpoint, you have to hold Nas high. And like I said, this is 2002, so we're talking about Illmatic, It Was Written, I Am. Nostradamus, and Stillmatic is out at this point, and you got Nas behind Corrupt.
I think Lost Tapes is out too, isn't it? Then
I think so, yeah, or around the same time. It might not have been out. I'll be fair here.
Well, you had heard those records that are on the Lost Tapes if you were Eminem, because I had heard most of those records by the time. Like I think the only thing that I hadn't heard on Lost Tapes when I heard Lost Tapes, I think was Purple, Black Zombie. Most of that stuff I'd already heard, Mike.
Saying all this to say, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying Eminem doesn't love hip-hop or whatever, but I think the fact that he goes extra with his giving props to other MCs is because he understands that he shouldn't be the 4th MC, solo MC, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, 5th. 3rd living solo MC. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He knows that. And the only way to smooth that over with people is to go out there and start yelling Big Daddy Kane's name, Rakim's name, Cool G Rap, KRS. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. And you were right about that comment. I just don't want to make it about him on this day because he doesn't even have an album that's about to drop. So,
but congratulations to him. And I want to say all that to say though, congratulations to him getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Even though I was livid that he got in there and Tribe didn't, but whatever. We'll talk about Tribe later.
This is what I mean. That's the same thing. It's like, well, you can be livid about it, or you can understand that you live in America. Now, which one do you want to do?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we already know what it is, but I'm just not going to.
You're the one that said it, Mike. Like,
no.
I was at your house, Mike, and I told you, Mike, I was like, you're having a great year, Mike. I'm like, you've been calling a lot of shit. This is one of the things that you called.
I said
you said they're going to bump up Infinite, put him in early, put him ahead of da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I saw it when he was inducting LL Cool J in. I said they're just getting us prepared for Eminem to get in there. Now, what I didn't know that they were
that you said these things, Mike.
What I didn't know that they were gonna do though, I didn't know they were gonna bump him up early and count Infinite. Now I didn't call that one. I thought they were at least gonna wait.
Yes, you did, Mike. You said that they are probably gonna find a way to put him in the front. You did say that.
Yeah, okay, this is what I thought. Mike. I thought Tribe was gonna walk in with him.
And you knew, like Mike, you were the one that said they're gonna find a way to get him in early.
But see, I thought Tribe.
They found the way.
I thought they were going to walk him.
That's great journalistic forecasting and integrity on your part.
I thought they were going to walk him in with Tribe, but they just didn't even. I mean, they nominated Tribe, but they didn't put Tribe in, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Ruthless.
Like, Detroit niggas still playing Pour Out a Little Liquor, Mike. Like, I'm not joking either.
36 Chambers with the super chat says, Nas and Hit Boy still got to do Still Magic. Shout out to Free for the dope title. Yeah, Still Magic would be dope. I guess that would be the next one they could do. Treymo says, Nas the GOAT, off topic, but will y'all ever do a special edition episode and speak on the great R&B classic albums? We can do that. when ain't nothing going on or something. I mean, we did a whole. I think we did a what was that? A Thriller Purple Rain
Mm-hmm.
episode, and I think that Comcast was fucking with my signal that day, so it was all over the place. But yeah, we could definitely do R&B. R&B needs more love, you know, and no pun intended, since Diddy calls himself Love now. But
Well, no, Mike, that goes back to some of what we were talking about behind the scenes earlier when I was telling you about having some ideas for some things. Right. So
yeah,
it's like, yeah, just like, yeah, we're growing and like expanding some things. So it's like there's going to be room for us to do some stuff. You know what? Can I tell you something, Mike? I was disappointed in the numbers that like our Purple Rain and Thriller like versus matchup did. Like just like numbers wise,
yeah,
like all jokes aside, because it's like, oh, how many like people like pull up and like really just like talk Thriller versus Purple Rain, like really, like run
yeah.
it down and dialogue it and talk about it. So I was expecting the response and the feedback to be greater. So that's why I've pulled back more on the R&B just on this show. You know what
R&B
I'm
needs
saying?
love. Yeah, and I feel a responsibility because R&B is a part of why hip hop is even here in the first place, right? I mean, it's black culture and it's black music. So I mean,
It all
R&B
intertwines.
needs help. And I'm willing, I love the discussions that we have as it pertains to hip hop, and I would love to have some of those discussions in R&B. And I would love for, you know, younger new R&B acts to be making great current R&B music so we don't have to just kind of live in the past with it. And I know that they are. It's just so much music out there, man.